Hello YouTube. It's been a while since I've posted a video. I've been really busy. A lot of things going on in my life. Good things, nothing bad. Just been really busy, like a lot of people in this pandemic. A lot going on. Anyhow, one of the things that I notice on YouTube is there's no shortage of videos on retirement, and a lot of them are from financial advisors and folks that sell different products, for seniors and folks just starting out in retirement. And I watched one the other day, and it was by this couple, really nice couple from Ontario, and they were talking about the 5 things they wish they knew before they retired. And it was an interesting video. They had some good points. Now, the one thing that I think, and has come out in spades in the last 2 years during this pandemic. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm driving along the highway because I don't know if in previous videos I mentioned that I owned a fairly heavy-duty Chevy pickup truck. Well, I traded that fairly heavy-duty pickup truck in on a cute little VW Beetle, and that's what I'm driving now. And you can see in the picture here, in the background, you can see I've got a really cool sunroof, and that's really neat. And now, considering fuel prices in Canada are about $1.40 a liter, going from a 10 miles to the gallon heavy-duty pickup truck to a VW Beetle that gets about 35 miles to the gallon is a good retirement decision for sure. Anyhow, now that I got that out of the way, really great driving car. So one of the things that this one couple discussed in their video was the idea of, do you sell your house when you retire and take that money and invest it, or do you keep your house? And one of the things that has been really apparent in this pandemic is the fact that the prices of real estate have gone totally ballistic. I mean, my house in particular is gone from being worth about $600,000 when the pandemic hit to probably almost $900,000. And in reality, I mean, that doesn't really matter to myself and my wife because we don't plan on moving. But the reason I bring this up as it could be a mistake for somebody in retirement is simply this. When you do sell your house, it doesn't matter what kind of money that you get from it, especially in Ontario and even down east in Canada. The price of real estate across the board has gone up tremendously, and you can move to, say, a place like Nova Scotia, but there's a few things that you got to keep in mind as a retired and an older person, is that you need health care. And if you live in a place like Toronto or Brantford, Ontario, where I live, and you're able to get to a well equipped, qualified hospital with great doctors and all of that sort of thing, within a few minute drive, then if something happens to you while you're you have a heart attack or some other emergency, if you're living in some little town that might have a little medical facility and you need some really specialized care, you could be in big trouble. If it's like an hour and a half, a 2-hour ambulance ride to get the help that you need, if you have a heart attack or stroke or whatever the case may be, then that's a big detriment, in my opinion. And so you got to look at that when you're deciding if you're going to sell your house in retirement or not. That's number one. Number two, rents have gone up pretty well evenly with the increase in the housing prices. In Brantford, before the pandemic, you could rent a one-bedroom apartment in a decent building, or a house, basement apartment or something like that, anywhere between $500 and $1,000 a month, plus maybe some utilities like your internet and such might be included if you're renting a basement apartment, because the landlord might provide that. They also might provide things like hydro and water and so on as part of your rent. So that said, you get that $800,000 for your home, and you take that money, and what do you do with it? Well, in the current 0 almost percent situation that most of the world is in now, and probably they keep saying they're going to raise interest rates. They're going to raise interest rates, so many times in 2022. But to be honest with you, there are so many mortgages that have been taken out since the beginning of let's say even 2008 up until now, at a very low interest rate. And the Bank of Canada tried raising rates before the pandemic in 2019. There was a big problem with insolvencies. People were stretched to the limit because of the payments on their homes and their loans and such going up. The other thing is that a lot of people are riding on variable rate mortgages right now, thinking that if they the rates aren't going to go up and they can just keep on saving money. And maybe in the short term that might work out, but if rates do start to go up and you can't lock in that mortgage, you might end up in a pickle there as well. So if you keep your home, you are probably somewhat guaranteed that it's going to appreciate in the years to come. There is a massive supply deficit of houses in Canada, especially Ontario, and because of what happened in the pandemic, with a lot of the nursing homes having excuse me, a lot of the nursing homes having issues with the pandemic, and a lot of poor seniors passing away and living in squalor and confined to their rooms. They couldn't get out of their rooms for 30 days and stuff like that. The complete shortage of healthcare workers to care for people in these homes. The government not supplying enough funding for these homes to get adequate healthcare workers. Just burnout. Many healthcare workers have left the profession. My daughter is a healthcare worker, and I mean, she really thought about it seriously. We talked her out of it because it is a good career and has a great pension and stuff like that. So what's happening going forward is a lot of seniors now are deciding to stay put, and they're going to renovate their houses to age in place. And because of that, that's put an even more of a supply shortage on housing. So the reality is, they think that even if rates do go up, house prices are going to continue to escalate. So I mean, what better asset could you have that's somewhat risk-free other than your home? I mean, in normal times, house prices can go up 2 to 5 to 7 to 10% every year, and you really have no risk in that. Okay, you have to pay property taxes and upkeep and those types of things, and maintenance can be a chore for some older folks because like myself, I mean, I can't get up on a ladder and clean out my gutters and stuff like that. But I'm lucky. I have a young son. He's not that young. He's 25, and he helps out with a lot of the things that we need done that we can't do around the house. We get a really bad snowstorm or what have you. He does the snow. So what I'm getting at is that I think one of the biggest mistakes in retirement is selling your home and then taking that money and thinking you're going to invest it in the stock markets to get income. Stock markets have generally, since the 40s and 50s, have generally gone up. However, there has been lots of times where they have dove 20, 30, 40%. And I don't know about you, but I don't like watching my investments take a big dive. Now the other thing is that if you do go out and you rent an apartment, if you're lucky enough to get into a building that has rent controls, and it's owned by a large corporation, there's a pretty good chance that they're not going to come to you and say, listen, we're going to renovate it, you got to get out. But there is a lot of that going on where developers and just regular folks have rental properties, and they're asking tenants to leave to do small renovations, and then they're raising the rent 20-30%. So when you're on a fixed income to a certain point in retirement, you don't have control over what the rent is going to be. If you're living in your own home, and even if you have a mortgage, generally as time goes on, you pay your mortgage, and as long as interest rates don't go totally ballistic, you are able to rely on maybe the payment becoming less over time as the mortgage pays itself down. Now, the other thing is, your house is a valuable asset to create income as well. If you have a basement that you're not using very much, you could make an apartment in your basement, and you can get a fair amount of income from it. You can rent out rooms on Airbnb. There's all sorts of ways to get income from your home. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that folks make when they retire is selling their house. Now, the other thing that seems to be becoming more popular is reverse mortgages. And there's a lot of caveats to do with reverse mortgages as well, because first of all, if interest rates are, say, 3% on a regular conventional mortgage, you can be rest assured from what I've seen that the interest rate that's charged on a reverse mortgage is usually 3, 4, maybe 5 points higher. So I know right now, to get a reverse mortgage, the interest rate that is charged is about 6%, maybe even 7%. So, okay, fine. You can get chunks of money from your home to do what you want with. But, the reverse mortgage company is charging you a lot of interest on that money. Now, you don't have to pay back the money until the house sells or you die. And a lot of reverse mortgages, if it's a couple, you can set it up where when one person dies, the reverse mortgage has to be paid out, or it can be when the second spouse passes away, then everything has to be paid out. But if you want to leave something to your children, then a reverse mortgage cannot be such a great idea. And secondly, when you do take the money out, when they do give you those checks from the reverse mortgage company, what are you going to do with that money? The whole idea is to get money out of your home, for most people, to get income from that money. So there we go again. You've got to be able to take that money and put it into some kind of investment vehicle to get monthly income. And a lot of times the only place to put it is in the stock market. When rates are low, I mean, you know, if you put it in a savings account and they pay you, 1.75%, excuse me, and inflation inflation currently right now is about 5%, and I think in reality it's probably more like 8%, but they don't count things like rent when they calculate the CPI. So if you're only getting 2% on a savings account, or a high interest savings account, as the banks will call it when they advertise, you're actually losing buying power from your money, basically every year. So even though you get that money out on a reverse mortgage, you still have to be weary of the risks involved with getting income from that money. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this video, is that mistake that people make in retirement, and when it comes to selling your home. So I hope if you're somebody that's planning for retirement or is in retirement, that some of this information is valuable to you. I've taken a lot of time and investigation into all of these things because, well, I'm retired and my wife will be retired down the road, and I had to figure out what the best way for us to deal with these things. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice day. I'm just gonna go into Costco here and pick up a few things, and then I'll see you on the flip side. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Stay safe.